their stances on the issues. Hardly, I mean, we do get some of that stuff, but it's a lot of the stuff is who's winning in the polls, who's going to win, who's winning in the swing states, blah, 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 blah. So I'll let you look at that, but he said, this Patterson has some research here. As a result, the public holds a cynical view toward politics. Yet Patterson contends that most politicians keep their premises once they are elected, blah, blah, blah. We ignore that. But basically, the type of coverage requires speculation on the part of so-called political experts. Blah, 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 blah. Prevents learning where the candidate's policy stands. That's sort of the thing. So, alternative voting methods. I love that. You should do that just for kicks and giggles on page 332. News is interpretation. Obviously, different news organizations interpret things differently. They all put their own spin on things. They set the agenda. Because more time is taken by media sources, there is less time to hear the voices of the candidates. What we do here is a sound bite, a short excerpt that the narratives of the journalists are increasingly negative. So journalists focus on the mistakes made by the candidates. So-called media narcissism, the public becomes even more alienated from the political system. So, just here is context maybe, but listen to what they have to say. Here are the policies that are set up. Blah, blah, blah. Here are the consequences. Okay. So covering politics is huge about how we tend to think about the entire thing, how we think about how we frame and create the reality of the political melodrama and the horse race, and media constantly interpret for us. So some of this is sort of cynical, but we need to be hopeful as well. Political consultants, they move into political consultants. And if you want to be a political consultant, go do it, I guess. Perhaps America's most sophisticated communicators. Pollsters, blah, 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 all that stuff. James Carville, Karl Rove, Axelrod, Mary, did she leave the GOP? In any case. So, these folks are interested, obviously, in the big message and the image, again. We've talked about images before. It's sort of how we see, it's not just the visuals, but it's how we see the identity of the candidate. Images are created through careful planning of the campaign staff. Advertising strategy plays a key role in developing an image for the public. The appearance of the candidates reinforces the image of the candidate, blah, blah. And it's creative manner of speaking, appearance, character, blah, 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 blah. Here's the thing. Here's, again, the problem. Our reliance on images, remember, that's almost sort of an autonomy in political and synecdoche, raises troubling questions for our democracy, according to some experts. First, there is no check on truthfulness of the image. This image, it's just a premise. It doesn't really have the evidence, right? Also, second, the public has a difficulty discerning the credibility of images with which we are confronted. So, but it's all about image. Who is this person? So it's more about character and all that stuff. So not the policies, not the issues. Where do they stand? What's Clinton going to do? What's Trump going to do? Do you know? I know some, but not a lot. Issues. Bingo. Not only do candidates talk about their image, but they do talk about issues. But they spend more time talking about character or image. Despite the research finding the news media create an expectation that candidates should instead talk about their image and attack the image of their opponent. Often politicians will focus on issues that will help them create an audience that has enough votes to elect them. What's the demographic? What do they care about? The Democratic Convention? Women? Mom, family. Who do they want to vote for Hillary Clinton? Women? Are there more women than men? Yes. I mean, so it's all about catering in a sense. Target audience. Okay. Motivating voters. All about emotions. Today, politics today is too complicated for rational discussion. He labels the phenomenon feeling stock. It's all about emotions, 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 emotions. Patriotic emotions, red, white, and blue, emotional stories. But Gromback sees dangers in sentimental politics. When audience members act based on feeling, they may be more likely to engage in extreme actions, such as those taken by militia or patriot movements. Yeah. All about emotion. This is really good news, isn't it? Woo-hoo. Managing meaning. Folks use the internet. Did you know that? Money, 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 money. I'll let you read that. It's no-brainer stuff. I mean, this book is, it's not terribly old, but, you know, we all know what the internet is, and things constantly change. When did this first? 2013, 3 years ago. But I'll let you read this stuff. But yeah, candidates use the internet. The main thing that I think is always interesting about issues of the internet and web pages particularly, online ads are targeted to specific zip codes, specific demographics, pop-ups and stuff like that, so very, very targeted. Advertising, obviously all over the place, partly on the internet, but also on the TV and wherever. Talked about there's 3 types of political advertisements: advocacy ads on the candidates' qualifications, attack ads, as we all know, and then contrast ads. There's 2 important variables, Jameson again, in political advertising that warrant further attention. Jamie also argues that there are 3 types of advertising that can discuss policy or non-policy issues. She argues that policy discussions are superior to non-policy issues because they help voters make up their mind. Yeah, that's good. Thus, it is important to watch ads to assess the extent to which they discuss policy matters. In addition, Jameson claims some attack advertising is good for the campaign and helps voters make up their minds. Frequently refer to all these as negative advertising, blah, blah, blah. This negative advertising unfairly attacks some problem, whatever. They do, there is some problems, but research and anecdotal evidence suggests that we are not immune to advertising. They actually do persuade us to vote for certain folks, even though we might be very skeptical of those things. Conventions. We've just watched the conventions. You can talk about the 3 goals of establishing, identify the combatants, establish party values, generate storylines or narratives that shape voter attitudes. You got the acceptance speech. This is all total staged event, or what event, image events. All about creating the image of the candidate, which again is, I mean, got some policy stuff in there, but not a whole lot. Flags, balloons, woo, red, white, and blue, America. Stump speeches, when they go out in the campaign during the primary, after, folks are, they used to get up on stumps. That's why they call them stump speeches. They go to tents, they go to churches, they go to wherever and talk their talk, and usually give about the same speech wherever they go, although it's always going to be targeted. It's great to be here in Ohio, home of the Ohio. There's a reason why the Republicans had their convention in Cleveland. They must win Ohio. Horse race. Stump speeches usually reflect the overall theme of the campaign, although speech may be tailored to a specific audience. Ooh, I just said that. It's a modular approach to speech using the same introduction and conclusion, but with audience-specific modules inserted in the body of the speech. Debates. Yeah. You might think, lots of people watch the debates. It says, you might think that a political debate would be a great way for voters to learn about the stands of the candidates on various issues. There are several factors that mitigate such optimism. The debates often lack confrontation. They're really question and answer. They give slogans, candidates give slogans, diminishing their usefulness or the interaction. There's very little interaction. Who knows with Hillary and Donald? We shall see. Media usually don't focus on what they said, but who won, who didn't, who lost. And persuaders screw up, like looking at their watch. Media's going to, or say something stupid. The media's going to focus on that. This is on the bottom of page 340. Despite the difficulties posed by media interpretation of debate, there are several important effects from political debates that are good for the political campaign. Debate changes the minds of only a limited number of candidates. Debates, but also reinforce the views of candidates support. Public opinion polls asking who won or lost in the debate usually reflect the standing of the candidates. I'm with Hillary, she won. I'm with Donald, she won. However, voters do gain information from political debates, so that's good. Second, they do serve as agenda-setting functions, so suggest what issues are important. And sometimes when campaigns win, because campaigns are trying to set the agenda as well, if they win what's important, is the economy stupid, oftentimes they will win the entire campaign. Watching debates, you are hacking something up. Okay, I'll let you read that. Now here's the thing. How do we do this? How do we become better as persuaders? You got to do all that stuff. But as persuadees, as voters, what do? Is it a lost cause? I hope not. Going back to chapter 3, one of the most important chapters in this book, some of the most important lessons, I think, in this whole class. So far, blah, blah, blah. Persuaders make decisions. We focus on ethical responsibilities of audience members. You, as a voter, be informed. Be informed or stay home. That's what I would say. I've heard that from Jim Rex, who used to be president of Columbia College, and then he was superintendent of education here in South Carolina. He gave a speech at Columbia College several years ago, 4 years ago, in fact, to encourage folks to go vote. But he said, if you don't do the duty to get informed, you should stay home and not vote, because you're taking away a vote from somebody who actually did their research and knows where the candidates stand. That's why I always hate folks who do full party stuff, whatever. Know who you're voting for. So go do the research. It's your responsibility. And if not, stay home. Everybody says go vote, but go vote only if you are an educated voter. Keep an open mind. Really listen to all sides of the issue. I know that sometimes it's very hard to do. Sometimes folks just focus on their own person and not the other person, but focus on all the people. And there are multiple candidates, just not Donald and Hillary. Be critical. Question absolutely everything. Find third-party, unbiased sources. Question whether the emotions, needs, and values of persuaders are used to influence are legitimate. Use critical thinking skills, and also express ethical judgments. As you listen, read, and watch the persuasive messages, consider various ethical standards, like the truthfulness of the message, the authenticity of the persuader, the respect that the persuader has for the persuadee, issues of equity, social responsibility. So go forth and be a good voter. You probably won't watch this because you're working on your paper, but I hope at some point in your life you will. Take care. Oh, here's Finn again. Last of Finn, perhaps. What do you think, monkey? Come here. Can you say persuasion? Or persuasion? Say, it's been a good semester. Bye-bye. Give me a kiss. Bye-bye.